So, you want to know everything about the Lightning Network? Here at Bitcoin Now, we're going to talk about this important part of Bitcoin. Okay, sit down and I'll explain it to you in detail. Imagine that Bitcoin is like a big highway. It's super useful, connects several important points, and is extremely safe. However, just like any busy highway, it has problems. Traffic, expensive tolls, and, sometimes, it takes a while to get where you want to go. Now, imagine an express lane that you can use to avoid all of this. It's fast, cheap, and takes you straight to the point. This lane is the Lightning Network. What is the Lightning Network? The Lightning Network is a second layer of solution built on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. And what are the layers of Bitcoin? So that you can follow along in the video, I'll give a quick explanation about the layers of Bitcoin. And first of all, how they work, in a simple and didactic way. Imagine Bitcoin as a big layer cake. Each layer has a specific function, and together, they make the system more efficient, flexible, and scalable. The main goal of these layers is to improve the performance of the Bitcoin network without compromising its security and decentralization. First layer. The main blockchain. What is it? The first layer is the main Bitcoin blockchain, the heart of the system. This is where it all started in 2009, when Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin. This layer records all Bitcoin transactions in a public, decentralized, and immutable way. Main features. 1. Extreme security. The main blockchain is protected by the mining process, proof of work. This makes it resistant to attacks, but it also requires a lot of computing power. 2. Decentralization. The network is maintained by thousands of nodes spread across the world, ensuring that no single entity controls the system. 3. Immutability. Once a transaction is recorded, it cannot be changed. 4. Slow speed. Transactions take about 10 minutes to be confirmed. 5. High fees. As usage increases, transaction fees can become expensive, especially during periods of high demand. Use example. Imagine that you want to buy a house with Bitcoin. This type of transaction involves large amounts and needs to be extremely secure. The main blockchain is the ideal place to record this type of operation, since it is very reliable. Second layer. Lightning Network. What is it? The second layer is made up of solutions that work on top of the main blockchain to improve the scalability and speed of transactions. The Lightning Network is the most famous example of this layer, and it is the subject of this video. How does it work? Users create payment channels where they can make numerous transactions between themselves without recording each one on the main blockchain. Only the final balance is recorded when the channel is closed. Use example. Imagine that you are buying coffee every day at the same coffee shop. Instead of paying high fees and waiting for time-consuming confirmations on the main blockchain, you use the Lightning Network to pay quickly and cheaply. Before I continue, I need to pay my bills, so I'll post a quick announcement. Have you ever seen a clock that's so much more than a timekeeper? Meet the Nixie Tube clock, a perfect fusion of past and future. Made with vintage 1970s technology, each Nixie tube displays numbers in a mesmerizing spectacle of retro design and light. It's more than just a clock. It's art, a conversation starter, and a piece of history. If you love exclusivity, this clock is for you. A rare item, designed for those who want to stand out and transform any space into something truly unique. It's the perfect gift for tech enthusiasts, interior design lovers, or anyone who deserves something unforgettable. But be careful. This clock is a limited edition and will only be available for a limited time. Don't miss out on your chance to bring this unique piece into your home. Turn time into style. Click the link in the description and get your Nixie Tube clock today. Now, back to the video. Layer 3. Application Solutions. What is it? Layer 3 is where practical applications and services built on top of the Bitcoin network emerge. This is where platforms that offer functionality beyond basic transactions, such as smart contracts, tokens, and decentralized applications, come in. Key features. 1. Smart contracts. While Bitcoin has limited capabilities for smart contracts compared to other networks, such as Ethereum, solutions like RSK and Stacks bring this functionality to Bitcoin. 2. Tokens and digital assets. Layer 3 protocols allow you to create digital assets, such as stablecoins, that run on the Bitcoin network. 3. Integrations with other technologies. Layer 3 solutions often connect Bitcoin to other blockchains or traditional financial services. Use example. Imagine you want to issue a Bitcoin-based token or create a smart contract to manage real estate rentals. Platforms like RSK allow you to do this, using the security of the Bitcoin blockchain. How do the layers work together? Think of layers as different levels of a technology infrastructure. 1. First layer, main blockchain. This is the foundation, responsible for security and permanent records. 2. Second layer, Lightning Network, focuses on efficiency and speed, handling smaller and frequent transactions. 3. Third layer, applications, takes Bitcoin beyond financial transactions, enabling innovation with smart contracts and applications. Each layer fulfills a unique role, but they complement each other to create a robust and versatile ecosystem. These are the main advantages of having multiple layers. 1. Scalability. Second and third layer solutions allow the network to support billions of transactions without overloading the main blockchain. 2. Flexibility. The upper layers bring new functionalities, such as smart contracts and tokens. 3. Reduced costs. Small transactions do not need to go through the main blockchain, saving fees. 4. Innovation. The extra layers enable the development of new applications and services. And what are the challenges of the layers? 1. Complex integration. Not all solutions are compatible with each other, which can make adoption difficult. 2. Security risks. Although the main blockchain is extremely secure, higher layer solutions can be more vulnerable. 3. Slow adoption. Many people still don't understand how to use these layers, which limits their potential. Now that we know a little more about the layers, we can move on to the subject. The Lightning Network doesn't replace the main blockchain, which is the basis of everything, but it works alongside it to make things faster and cheaper. Think of it as a shortcut or an extension that improves the experience of using Bitcoin. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you want to buy a coffee. If you pay using the main blockchain, you'll have to wait at least 10 minutes for the transaction to be confirmed. In addition, transaction fees can be so high that the coffee ends up being more expensive than it should be. It doesn't make sense, right? That's where the Lightning Network comes in. It lets you pay for your coffee instantly and with virtually zero fees. And before we continue, I'm going to ask you to leave a like, so that this video about such an important topic reaches more people. How does the Lightning Network work? To understand how the Lightning Network works, let's break down the process into 3 steps. Opening the channel, making transactions, and closing the channel. Opening the payment channel. The first thing you need to do is open a payment channel. This is like creating a shared account between you and another person. For example, imagine that you frequent a coffee shop a lot. You decide to open a channel with the owner of the coffee shop. Here's what happens. 1. You and the owner of the coffee shop deposit an initial amount of Bitcoin into a smart contract. This contract is recorded on the main Bitcoin blockchain. 2. This smart contract is like a safe. The Bitcoin you put there is locked until you decide to close the channel. 3. Now the channel is open, and you can start making transactions with each other. Important. This initial transaction, which opens the channel, still happens on the main blockchain. In other words, you will pay a normal fee here. But after that, all transactions within the channel are off-chain. That is, they happen outside the main blockchain. Making transactions. Once the channel is open, transactions within it are practically instantaneous and have minimal fees. It is as if you were exchanging money directly with the coffee shop owner without having to go through the bank, which would be the main blockchain. For example, you buy a coffee for 0.01 Bitcoin. The balance within the channel is updated. The coffee shop owner earns 0.01 Bitcoin, and if your balance decreases by the same amount. All of this happens in real time and without high costs. Now, imagine that you continue using this channel throughout the month, buying several coffees. All of these transactions are recorded within the channel, but they do not appear on the main blockchain. Closing the channel. When you decide that you no longer need the channel, let's say you moved and no longer go to that coffee shop, you and the coffee shop owner can close the channel. At that moment, the final balance of all transactions made within the channel is consolidated and recorded on the main blockchain. For example, you started the channel with 0.5 Bitcoin, and the coffee shop owner had 0.3 Bitcoin. Over time, you spent 0.1 Bitcoin on coffees. When the channel is closed, The final balance is recorded on the blockchain. You are left with 0.4 Bitcoin, and the coffee shop owner with 0.4 Bitcoin. Practical examples from everyday life. Let's put this into practical situations to make it even clearer. Example 1. Paying for a coffee. You're a regular at a coffee shop. Without the Lightning Network, each coffee you buy is a separate transaction on the main blockchain. This means you'll pay high fees and wait for long confirmations. With the Lightning Network, you open a channel with a coffee shop, and all your purchases are made within that channel. At the end of the month, only the consolidated balance goes to the main blockchain. Much simpler, right? Example 2. Recurring payments. Imagine you subscribe to a streaming service that accepts Bitcoin. Instead of paying monthly on the main blockchain, you open a channel with the service. Each monthly payment is made within the channel, and at the end of the year, the total balance is recorded on the main blockchain. Example 3. Splitting bills. You and your friends always split the bill for dinner. Instead of making several small transfers, you open a channel on the Lightning Network. Each of you pays your share directly into the channel, and the final balance is recorded on the main blockchain when you close the channel. Practical examples from everyday life. Let's put this into practical situations to make it even clearer. Example 1. Paying for a coffee. You're a regular at a coffee shop. Without the Lightning Network, each coffee you buy is a separate transaction on the main blockchain. This means you'll pay high fees and wait for long confirmations. With the Lightning Network, you open a channel with a coffee shop, and all your purchases are made within that channel. At the end of the month, only the consolidated balance goes to the main blockchain. Much simpler, right? Example 2. Recurring payments. Imagine you subscribe to a streaming service that accepts Bitcoin. Instead of paying monthly on the main blockchain, you open a channel with the service. Each monthly payment is made within the channel, and at the end of the year, the total balance is recorded on the main blockchain. Example 3. Splitting bills. You and your friends always split the bill for dinner. Instead of making several small transfers, you open a channel on the Lightning Network. Each of you pays your share directly into the channel, and the final balance is recorded on the main blockchain when you close the channel. Advantages of the Lightning Network. Now let's talk about the advantages that make the Lightning Network such a promising solution. 1. Speed. Transactions are practically instantaneous. You can buy something and pay immediately, without having to wait for confirmations. 2. Low fees. Since transactions happen outside the main blockchain, fees are almost non-existent. This is perfect for microtransactions. 3. Privacy. Only the initial transaction, when the channel is opened, and the final transaction, when the channel is closed, appear on the blockchain. Transactions within the channel are private. 4. Scalability. With fewer transactions overloading the main blockchain, it can support many more users. 5. Microtransactions. It is now possible to pay tiny amounts, such as fractions of cents, which was previously not feasible on the main blockchain. And if you want to stay up to date with the channel's videos, I'll ask you to subscribe. Only those who want to stay up to date with the world of Bitcoin and not make mistakes subscribe to the channel. That said, let's continue. Disadvantages of the Lightning Network. But it's not all sunshine and roses. Here are the challenges of the Lightning Network. 1. Opening and closing channels is expensive. The initial and final transaction still happens on the main blockchain, so you pay the normal fees. 2. Limited capacity. You can only spend what you put in the channel. If you need more, you'll have to open another channel. 3. Risk of technical failures. If something goes wrong, such as an unstable connection, the channel may be affected. 4. Complexity. It's still a new technology and a bit complicated for less experienced users. Conclusion. The Lightning Network is a true revolution within the Bitcoin universe. It solves many of the problems of the main blockchain, such as slowness and high fees, and makes Bitcoin more usable in everyday life. Of course, there are still challenges and limitations, but its potential is immense. So, is it clearer? You can see how the Lightning Network transforms Bitcoin from a heavy tool into something much more agile and practical, right? What do you think about trying it out? And to keep up with the tradition, I'm going to leave a video about Bitcoin here for you. I'll leave it at that. Until next time.